Hey guys, so today's video is going to be all about my favorite makeup brushes. Now I've gotten this request a ton, but I really wanted to take the time to try out all the brushes that I have, try out a few new ones, and really figure out what are my favorites. So I think you guys will be happy to know that most of them are drugstore brushes that you can find either at the regular drugstores or at Ulta. And I also have a couple Sigma brushes, but I'm sure you guys are already familiar with them. So I guess we will just get started with the face brushes. Alright, so the first one is the Sigma Round Top Kabuki F82. So this is my favorite foundation brush. I can't even say how much I love this. I use this every single day when I wear foundation. It makes it flawless. It really does. You can just buff it into the skin just so nicely. It does all the work for you, really. I do feel like that no, that's not what I was going to say. I feel like the best makeup brushes do all the work for you. I feel like I have some eye brushes that really do that for me, and face brushes as well. So this is one of those that is just like, thank you, Sigma, because this is fantastic. The next brush is the e.l.f. powder brush. It is a flat top, if you can see that one right here. What I have to say about this one is it's definitely, for me, a multi-purpose brush. I do own two of these, and this one I happen to use for bronzer every day, but I do have another one that I use for tinted moisturizer that I actually prefer to use over my Sigma brush when I use tinted moisturizer specifically. I'm not exactly sure why, but it somehow works better for me. What I have to say about this is that I do think that this is great for beginners and people who are on a budget, because these are only $3. I did use this for liquid foundation before I got my Sigma brush, and there's nothing wrong with it. I definitely like how it applies my foundation, almost just as much as the Sigma one, but I don't know, the Sigma one's a little bit better. Okay, my favorite powder brush, you know, it's seen better days. Well, yeah, the paint is sort of chipped off the handle there, but you know, that's not important. I actually own two of these as well, and I just like don't want to replace this one because I feel like that's mean. I mean, it's weathered the storm. Not very well, but you know, it tried. So this is the e.l.f. complexion brush. As I said, it's my favorite powder brush. I use this just to set my foundation every day with whatever face powder I'm using. I find that this works just as well with any powder that I use, so I don't know if it's the powders or if it's the brush, but this works really well. It's nice and soft like all the brushes that I use pretty much, and I don't know, it just does the job. It's kind of an interesting shape because it's kind of a paddle brush, but it's also very fluffy, so it just works really well for me. Alright, the next two face brushes, and last two actually, are from Real Techniques, which is a brand that I haven't really dabbled in a lot, but I definitely love the ones that I have so far. So this is the buffing brush that did come in one of their kits. I can't remember which one exactly. But this one, I did try using liquid foundation with it. I found that it wasn't quite dense enough. You guys can see it does have a bit more give to it compared to the Sigma one. But this is really good for what I like to just like diffuse any harsh lines. So I used to use this with the e.l.f. tone correcting powder, the one with the 4 different colors, and just use that to get rid of any sort of harsh lines. But now I don't even use any product with it. I do the exact same thing when I feel like I didn't blend quite as well or as nicely as I had hoped, and this just kind of does it for me. So again, brushes that do the work for you, so convenient. The next one is the Real Techniques contour brush. So as you can guess, I use it for contouring, and I haven't actually been using this for very long. I've been contouring since high school, like senior year, and I've probably only been using this for like less than a year, so you can guess that I used another brush for a very long time and I was very loyal to it. In fact, when I bought this brush, I wasn't even a big fan of it at first, until I just kind of gave it another shot. I worked with it more, and now I definitely like how this applies it more than my other one. So again, that is the contour brush. Alright, the next one is my brow brush. I never know where to put brows. Like, are brows part of the eye category or the face category? I never really know. Anyway, this is the e.l.f. small angled brush, and it is exactly as the name suggests. It can be used as I use it for brows, or you could use it if you wanted to use it for eyeliner. I probably wouldn't use it for that just because it is not quite as precise. Plus, I'm used to using like very thin eye brushes. But this could also be used to do more detailed work, if you didn't want to do like the tape method that I use, you could actually use like an angled brush like this to create that angle on your eye. It's just a really nice multi-purpose brush for your eyes as well, but definitely my favorite brow brush. It works really, really well. Okay, all the rest are eye brushes. I'm going to get started with this eyeliner brush from Sigma. This is the E05, and I love this brush. I do have to say though, it isn't quite as precise when I want to do a wing, which is every day. So when I do use this brush, I actually use 2 different brushes, which sounds like really ridiculous, but I take a lot of time to get ready, and I give myself a lot of time so that I don't ever have to rush, which is just, I don't know, I don't want to rush in the mornings. Granted, I'm like never awake in the morning, it's usually afternoon, but that's beside the point. So this is a really, really good brush for just a quick sweep of liner across your lash line, especially if you, well, I used to have monolids. If you have monolids and you have to apply a thicker line, this is really good for that too. I recommend this for anyone who is just starting out with gel or cream liner. I feel like this is foolproof just for the basic application. Okay, the next one is the e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. This is my favorite brush. Now I have 2 that I want to show you guys here. These are both the same brush, which is kind of confusing. So this one was one of the original ones I bought. I have like 3 of these. And when I first started on YouTube, actually before I even started on YouTube, these were really popular because if you can see, they're like a perfect shape for applying lid color, and you just pat it on and it's really, really good. They have a decent thickness, there's a lot of bristles in there, but this is one of the newer ones. So if you can see that, it's a little bit smaller, and not only the actual bristles are smaller, but the actual brush itself is smaller. Unfortunately, the new ones aren't quite the same as the old ones. You really have to pick and choose. It's kind of like you never know what you're going to get, especially if you order online. But overall, this is still my favorite brush for my lid color. The next brush is an Ecotools brush from one of their little travel sets. But this is my favorite brush for applying my blending color in my crease. And right now I'm using MAC Moleskin. I've used it with Urban Decay Naked, all those like really light medium tone browns. This does a flawless job of just seriously blending. I mean, you could get one of these with no product on it. I actually have 2 of these. One of them has nothing on it, and if you ever feel like you need to blend, again, I like blending is your friend. You just use that to blend out anything that needs to be blended. Okay, so here, I had to give this brush a shout out. I don't use it actually as much, but I own 5 of them, so I figured it probably needed to be, you know, mentioned at least a little bit. These are from Target, and these were the first 2 that I bought with the silver ferrule, and they've actually been revamped several times. So these ones aren't even, these are literally all different, but they are all the same brush. So these are from Target. I don't even know if it's their Up and Up brand or if it's just some generic brand that they sell there, but these are all crease brushes. They're really inexpensive. They're like $3 or $4 each, and you can really not go wrong. In fact, I feel like the newer ones anyway are a lot softer than the old ones, so these are just going to go away. But I have been using these since high school. I have to say they are very, very good. Just a little tip here though, if you're actually going to get these brushes, look at several of them, because I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but like this one comes to a point a little bit, whereas these ones are a little bit rounder. So the ones that come to a point, you can guess would probably apply shadow a little bit more concentrated, whereas these ones that are fluffier will probably diffuse it a little bit more. So just kind of look at the different ones that they have, or you could always buy multiples because they are really inexpensive. But these are great for beginners because these are totally what I used when I first started. Alright, next up I have a duo. I think these look different now, but I do believe that this duo is still available. I might have to check that. But these are from Essence of Beauty, and they are little pencil brushes. Well, this one's a little bit big to be a pencil brush, but generally that's what I would call them. So this one, this bigger one here, I use this one every day to add whatever dark color I'm using, usually black, that adds a little bit more dimension to my eyes every day. And then this little one I use every day on my lower lash line with whatever color I'm using as well. So these 2 brushes definitely get used all the time, and I love them. They're perfect size for me. They work really well with my eye shape. So again, Essence of Beauty is another drugstore brand that you can check out. So there's that. Alright, lastly is my favorite eye brush, and this one looks pretty gross right now, but we're going to ignore that part of it. It is the Sigma E25, and this is actually only the travel size. I don't even have a full size of this brush, but I need to get one. But just the brush, it's so good. I can't even, no, it's so good. This definitely changed a lot for me as far as crease color. I feel like I don't have to work very hard at all with this brush, and it's a little bit different from your typical, like these ones, they're your typical like round, fluffy-ish brush you would use for your crease. This one is a little bit more, so it's narrow, and then it's fluffier at the top. So when you use it this way, the narrow way, I should say, you could use that for a, I guess, more precise application. But then you turn it sideways, and then you can just kind of, you know, blend it, fluff it, whatever you want to do, and that just kind of, it just makes it look really good. I feel like this brush, I don't have to do anything. This thing does it all. It's so exciting. I love this thing so much. I use it every day. So I use it today, obviously. So I love this thing. I totally recommend it. Okay, so that is it for my favorite makeup brushes. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you guys have any other questions about brushes, you can feel free to leave them in the comments, and hopefully I will be able to help you out a little bit. But that is it for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!